Alright guys, today we're going to blaze through pretty much my favorite fly. This is a Thread Frenchie, and this is my blank saver, this is my skunk saver, this is the fly I pull out when nothing else seems to work. Pretty much I feel like if I can't catch anything on this fly, it wasn't meant to be. So oftentimes I actually leave this fly in my box so that I get the opportunity to fish some other flies, because I could pretty much fish this thing anytime, all the time. So right here we've got a fulling mill size 14 50-45 jig hook, and then we've got a 2.8 millimeter tungsten gold colored bead, and you can add some more lead to this to make it a little heavier. You can increase the bead size, obviously we can change up the colors, things like that, but this one works pretty well for me. So we're going to start with just some UTC 70 in black. Just throw down some thread wraps. I like to pull this down basically to where the barb would be if it was there. Okay, and then we're going to add some Coq de Leon for a tail. I like to keep these tails relatively short, and this is a medium pardo Coq de Leon. Go ahead and give my bobbin a spin backwards just so my thread jumps back so I can catch this a little easier. And then I'm going to wrap this all the way to the front just so that I don't end up with a bump here. Just trim this off. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to add here is some gold wire. This is brassie size gold wire. Just catch that, tie it in here, just pull it down the side. Now, one thing to note, you don't have to be perfect or super smooth, all the way down. You can cover all this up here in a minute when we get to the end of this step, and that smooths everything out pretty nice. So now I'm just going to throw in a quick whip finish so that I can wrap my wire. And for wire, especially on this first wrap, I like to kind of keep it relatively loose to keep my tails from splaying out too much. If you tighten it way down, then they will splay out a little bit more than you want to. I like to do 4 or 5 wraps of this wire all the way to the top, and then we'll just tie it off. Because we have wrapped the wire in the opposite direction of the thread, I kind of like to pull down on the wire and give it a little bit of tension just so that the thread doesn't push the wire off. Okay, tie that down nice and tight, and then we'll just go ahead and helicopter our wire off there. And then at this point I'm going to throw in a whip finish. There's a few different options you can do here, but I like to change the color of my thread, and I like to do it at this stage so that I can trim off the first color and then cover everything in resin, and then come back with the second color and add a few more wraps so it's not just on the collar. I'll show you what I mean here in a second. So the next thing we're really going to do here is just coat this in Loon Flow. We don't want a ton of this stuff. We still want to have the wire rib kind of sticking out. So I like to put a few drops on and then just kind of run a bodkin up and down, get it to soak into the threads a little bit, but then you'll still get the rib showing. And then we'll hit that with our light. Okay, now I'm going to come back in. I got some Veevus 6/0 in fluorescent orange here, and we're going to throw this down on the front. So I kind of like to do it like this, so I can get a few more wraps in here and make sure that this is pretty well secure, instead of just trying to do a few wraps for a collar. So now we're going to add some UV ice dub in shrimp pink, and this is the color, right? Like, there's a lot of ice dub out there. This color is the color. This is the closest thing to trout crack you're going to find, and this stuff works wonders. So we don't need very much. We're just going to pull it around a couple of times, make a nice little body here, little wing case, and then tighten that out, and then we'll just throw down a whip finish to make kind of a hot spot collar. And this combination of the gold with the fluorescent orange and the UV shrimp pink is just absolutely money, and the best fly that I've fished over the last several years. Had a couple of those just to build that color up a little bit more. At this point, we'll just add a little bit of head cement. And that's it. That is the money fly. So check it out, give it a try, let me know how it goes.